This is the Cleveland Real Estate Investor Podcast. On this episode, Mike Reilly, along with Brook and Lindsey Reilly, discuss adjusting in the workplace to the COVID and using apps like Zoom to not only maintain proper communication with employees and clients, but enhance it. Stay tuned.
Hi, everybody. This is Mike Reilly. I'm here with our partners, Lindsey and Brook. Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Brook's working the recording. We're doing this on Zoom because our podcast is going to be using the Zoom technology to manage properties. So let's talk about one of the silver linings in this terrible pandemic we're going through, which has been the use of Zoom and how it's spilling over from us working remotely now and safely, but also the implications of how we've been using this for managing our properties for out-of-state clients. So I'm going to start off with our San Diego client who we've never met personally, who bought a property in Cleveland Heights about 3 years ago. And we've talked to him on the phone. We've become friends with him on Facebook. And this year was the first time that a couple months ago we had a Zoom chat with him. In fact, I'm going to throw his name out, Gerardo, because you can listen to him on one of our earlier podcasts. He was talking about what it's like going Airbnb. And I thought what was fascinating about it, when we had a Zoom chat with him, this was the first time he actually saw his property. He'd never seen the house he bought, which was extraordinary. So, Lindsey, you want to jump in and summarize that Zoom meeting with Gerardo?
Yeah, what was great about it, first of all, I had actually never, like Mike said, I had actually never physically met Gerardo. So we've been doing everything up until the COVID virus hit. We've been doing everything just by phone or through email. So not only was it great to obviously see his face, but what was also cool was that while we were chatting through the video technology, was we were able at the same time, he was able to see photos of the work that we were preparing to do to his house as far as landscaping and just small repairs to help, keep it up to date, because his house, which is hosted through the Airbnb platform that we manage, is by far one of our more popular homes in the area, mostly because of the fact that it's centrally located close to Cleveland Clinic, and it's got first floor bedrooms and a bathroom, which is super helpful for hospital patients. But yeah, we were able to literally take him through the house, almost kind of like a virtual tour of the property, so he could see what we needed to get done.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of times what happens with technology is how you adapt it to your business. It doesn't happen overnight. I've been listening to a CNBC halftime report a lot in the last couple of months. And one of the phrases you keep hearing about is phrase pulling forward. And a lot of the tech companies like Microsoft, Zoom, Google, Facebook, Apple, these stocks have done very well in this economy. And their stocks are, if you had bought stock in these companies in the middle of March when the market just hit rock bottom, you would have probably got a 50% return in 2 or 3 months. And the reason is because people have they've been forced to adapt to this technology at warp speed. They have to work at home. Employers now are making people work at home. So whether they like it or not, they're going to have to go on Zoom to work at home. And what they're finding is that they're enjoying it, that they're actually more productive working at home. So that's the concept of pulling forward, where you're forcing people to adapt to technology, whether they like it or not. What's been nice about what we're doing, we're now discovering these tools to better manage our properties. We can show a client in San Diego we can put pictures up on share screen, which will show them, we need to repair this, we need to fix this, we need to really clean up the yard. And we can walk them through a dozen pictures of work that needs to be done at the house. We take them inside, we need to fix this faucet. In some cases, we can do a quick video. we don't like to do video because the resolution's not that good on Zoom, but a picture comes across, like that old saying, like it's worth 1,000 words. So here we are walking Gerardo through the 12 items that we need. We give him a price, $2,000-$3,000 to get all this stuff done. And he says, great, go ahead and do it. When we send him the bill, he can see the before and afters. And with Zoom, here's the kicker, you can record that meeting so that you're giving him a quote, you're showing him what needs to be done, and then you're recording it. So it is a kind of a 21st century form of estimate. And Brook, you've been doing a number of those as well with some of your clients. You want to jump in on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's utilizing the technology and the tools that we have nowadays. I find it to be that my work is, I'm more productive now. There's no distractions. There's no, if I need to meet with Mike at the office, now I can just do it all through Zoom, and I can show him my photos of an estimate I just did online, and we're able to get a lot more things done. So,
well, here's another story, Brooke, you were involved in, I think, along with Lindsey, was our Fairport Harbor client who lives in Hawaii. And this is a spectacular property on a hill overlooking Lake Erie. There needed to be some work done. They were getting water coming in on the sunroom on the first floor. We weren't exactly sure where it was coming in. And so we sent a crew out to do some landscaping, some cleanup, some touch-up painting, minor repairs. But one of the things we wanted to do was to figure out what was going on with this leak. Well, what we did was, one of our top people was out there, Travis, who had his iPhone 11, which is the resolution on these iPhone 11, especially this one, is unbelievable. It's like 4K almost. It's so clear. But Travis was able to show us on a Zoom chat from Fairport Harbor to Brook at his home office, at me at my house, and we had our laptops up, and he was walking us through 25 miles away what was going on at this house. And we quickly discovered what the problem was. Now, that Zoom conference we had was recorded, which was then sent to our client who lives in Hawaii. So she can see what the problem was, what the fix was, and obviously get some documentation of what the charges were. Now, we've got something coming up next week where we've got to take a look at this fence at our property in Cleveland Heights. And one of our other handymen, Leon, he just got his phone upgraded. Leon is going to be at the house, and he's going to be bringing in one of our top foremen who specializes in repairs, myself, baby Lindsey, and Brook. And this will be recorded, and we'll be able to diagnose what to do with this fence, and we'll be able to send the recording to our client who lives in Nova Scotia. I mean, it's incredible. So for out of state, out of country investors, being able to have your property manager on the ground who can utilize these technologies is a major game change for everybody.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, it's just faster too, especially if you're able to just call up, a foreman and just say, hey, you know what, I'm running into an issue here. Let me just hop on. And while I'm at it, I'm going to record this too, so that I can alert the client. This is the problem that we were running into. Now, something that I just want to mention, though, is that some people may be thinking, well, what's the difference between that and FaceTime? Because, yeah, FaceTime's been around for a number of years now. But with Zoom, you're able to actually record that particular video and have that on file too. Like, we just actually got off from doing a Zoom video screen share. Brooke and I and Mike, we did it for one of our clients who lives in Virginia or Washington, D.C. Can't remember. But I'm going to be requesting that I get a copy of that so that I keep that for my own records. So that's the difference between using something like a FaceTime versus Zoom. We're able to actually store this for future reference.
Right. And then you've got by the end of the year, you're going to have 5G come along. 5G is just going to take the whole resolution, the speed, the audio lags. It's gonna blow it away. I mean, I was watching at our building. We have a workout area, and I put up an old plasma TV that was in the back. I mean, it's a big screen plasma. I couldn't believe how bad the reception was. I mean, the resolution was. It was incredible. And I'm watching a movie while I'm working out on a plasma TV that 15 years ago was the best picture you could buy, was the plasma. Now compared to a 4K, I mean, it looks like a grainy black and white with the rabbit ears on top. So the whole, this is, we talked about pulling forward. We're moving into areas now where here's another, what I call telemedicine for housing. And think about the problems that come up with a dishwasher, with a stove, with a AC unit or furnace or something where, it's hard to get service people out. Too many lawyers, not enough HVAC technicians. Now, we have two HVAC guys we work with. And now what we can do is we can use Zoom to literally help them diagnose what the problem is for us. And then one of our guys can fix it. Now, some of the things they're going to have to come out for a service call. But more often than not, you're going to see handyman services coming forward on this. Mm-hmm. And also, obviously, out-of-state investors who might want to buy a property, now they can get a 3D walkthrough in real time, a consultation with their realtor, with their contractor, the whole 9 yards. So, I mean, everything now is getting pulled forward at record speed. And the early adopters who can jump on that wave are going to do very, very well in a very, very bad time in our economy. Brook, any other thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, for me, being in my 30s, I've never gone through something like what we're going through now. And it really forces you to adapt to survive. I mean, to stay busy. And luckily, we have been staying busy with work. But, when things get out of whack and you're out of your normal routine, I mean, it really forces you to get stuff done in a new way. And I think that we're doing the smart thing and investing in a lot of fast technology, whether that's, faster laptops, where guys can work remotely safely from a laptop from their car. We're not doing any meetings in a small office. Normally, when we do have our schedule board meetings or our sales meetings, I might be out on my front porch. Mike might be in his living room, and some of the foremen might be in their cars at a job site. So we're working safely, we're adapting, and we're using the technology that we have available, and I really like what we're doing. So,
right. I really think that to Brook's point, that we are going through a sociological change. We're going to look back in about 5-10 years, and I'm not going to say it's like the Great Depression, but it's going to be one of those 9/11 meets World War II movements where everything is how we approach science, how we approach industries, newspapers, cars, 5G. You're going to see more people. Uber is going to have more computer-driven cars. I mean, everything is going to be up for change, and how it impacts the real estate business is going to be interesting. But we can start seeing the shapes of that. People are working more at home now. So a safe neighborhood where they can work from home. They don't have to worry about commuting, 20 miles. They're not going to be traveling for business. Everything is going to be, from home now. So if somebody's coming in maybe to work on a project, they're going to want to stay at a house. They're not going to want to stay in an apartment building. So that in itself changes real estate. How's the impact on Airbnb going? Well, it's a whole new type of person. It's not vacation rentals anymore. It's people looking for short-term furnished rentals. So, okay, Lindsey, well, final thoughts?
No, I mean, I think one thing you just mentioned about the Airbnb was that I've certainly, as we've been, because Airbnb is, at this point, it is our number one source of traffic. That's how we've been getting almost almost all of our rentals booked, even at the beginning of this year. But one thing that I've been getting through the Airbnb system has been weekly messages from the Airbnb super hosts and guides just saying, hey, here are the latest tips on how to keep your house clean and how to keep your house safe. So I think from the Airbnb perspective, they've been doing a fantastic job about keeping people up to date on how hosts need to continue to keep themselves and keep their guests safe and healthy. And I think for some of those hosts who, may have not done as much cleaning beforehand, I know I've heard from friends, they've been through horror stories where it just hasn't been what they expected and they had to leave early. Thankfully, we have not had to actually deal with that before, but it's important for people to be, if they want to keep their business running, especially for those hosts who may only have one or two houses and are relying solely on Airbnb to get their message out. I think they're coming to terms with the fact that things are changing, especially from a cleaning perspective. And like I said, making sure that their guests are walking into a very clean environment. So I give a lot of good kudos to Airbnb for keeping people like us, keeping hosts like ourselves in the know about the trends and what we need to be doing.
Right. Okay, good. All right. Well, we recommend to our investors that you start working with Zoom or a property manager that can give you that kind of armchair view of what their property looks like, how you handle it. So we'll end on that note, and we'll be picking it up, next week. We're going to be talking about drones, where we've been using drones to give people a more accurate idea of not only what the house looks like, but the location of that. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that next week, along with the new technology with keyless entries, work with your iPhone, Android, again, making your house smarter with other technologies that are there that are easily, adaptable for your house. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Brooke. Thanks, Lindsey. Thanks,
cool.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Cleveland Real Estate Investor Podcast. Find more episodes on www.riley-properties.com or find us on your favorite streaming services like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and more.